Hi, I'm Jessa Molyneux, and I'm here with Mike Boht from the bIOTAsphere. Today I'm going to be interviewing him on the Insure My Car proof of concept. We have a bunch of questions from both the IOTA and bIOTAsphere communities that we're going to have answered for you today. Before we do, if you do not know what the IOTA protocol is, please go watch 100 Billion Reasons Why. You can find that either on YouTube or on the bIOTAsphere website. Great. So, Mike, can you share a little bit about yourself and what the bIOTAsphere is?
Sure. So, hi everybody, I'm Mike Boht. I do a lot of development at the bIOTAsphere, and I also interact with the community. The bIOTAsphere is a self-sustaining, non-profit environment, and we focus on using the IOTA protocol. So we look at business models that are in place today, but the IOTA protocol actually enables us to innovate those business models in ways that you wouldn't have thought were possible with today's technology. We look at ideas that you would think are 10, 20 years down the road, but using the IOTA protocol, we're actually able to create proof of concepts that demonstrate these ideas today. And this opens up a whole bunch of new business models, and all of this can really improve our daily lives and drastically reduce our impact on the environment.
Awesome. We have a number of questions sent in from the community about the proof of concept. How does the project actually work?
All right, so if you haven't seen the presentation, we have a video up on the bIOTAsphere YouTube channel, and it's basically Terry Shane, the founder of the bIOTAsphere, aka IOTerry on Twitter, and Brian Wong, and they basically presented the Insure My Car proof of concept, and that video goes into detail, but I'll give you a high-level summary. So Insure My Car, essentially we hooked into the Tesla API to get real-time data about Terry's Tesla, about his vehicle.
Okay.
So the speed, the location, all the telematics data about it. And we took that real-time data and we actually calculated on the fly the best insurance plan based on that usage data.
Okay.
So in real time, we're checking if your car is parked or speeding or whatever the case may be, and we're deciding what's the best insurance plan for you in that moment. And the car has an IOTA smart wallet associated with it, and the vehicle actually will pick this plan and purchase using IOTA and pay for your coverage for you.
Okay, good. So that makes a lot of sense. So that you're paying different rates depending on how fast you're driving or the telematics data that you were talking about.
Depending on the situation.
Okay.
So the owner of the vehicle just has to fund the vehicle's wallet, and the vehicle will take care of finding the best rate and actually paying for insurance for you, and it could even be in fractions of a penny.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it would be nice. So the vehicle owner really just has to make sure the vehicle is being driven by someone who has their license.
Right.
And yeah, but this really is an example of how we can take an existing business model and put a complete twist on it in a way that it wouldn't be possible without the IOTA protocol.
What's a real world example that you could give just so that I could get a sense of like why I'd want to use this proof of concept instead of what I currently have with my insurance provider?
Right. So one of the examples also from the live demo is if your car is parked. So for example, you've probably gone on vacation for 2 weeks or a month. And
oh yeah, I wish I could go on more.
Your car is just sitting there, not being driven, and you paid the same insurance during that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this model actually would take a parked car, and there would be a plan that's targeted towards that. So you would pay a very low rate for your car being parked because the
It's
risk
not
is very
moving,
low. Yeah,
right.
exactly. So yeah, in the demo, we basically had a few different special conditions like that. If it's parked, if it's speeding, if it's going ludicrous speed, so if it's really speeding.
Right.
And we had insurance plans that were targeted towards each of those. So one for parked cars, one for if they're speeding but not too bad, and then we had BFR Rocket insurance, and that was for people that were really speeding.
Okay, and then the car would pick which insurance plan to go with.
Right, and in the future there would be tons of plans, there'd be tons of special conditions. We could have ones for the weather, for the time of day, if the car is self-driving. Lots of different scenarios could be worked into this model.
Where did the idea for the proof of concept come from, and what was your role in making all of this happen?
So Terry Shane initially presented the idea, and after chatting a bit, we decided that we would go forward with it. So I wrote the initial outline, and then we reviewed among the bIOTAsphere team, and we got to work. My role was mostly the back-end development, and I did a little bit of front-end work, but my colleague Tufik Chediak, he did the majority of the front-end development and the design and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. And then what technologies were used to develop the Insure My Car proof of concept?
So on the back end, we use Node.js, and we use the new IOTA TypeScript library. It just came out a couple months ago. And since IOTA used TypeScript for their new library, we decided to also use TypeScript for Node.js as well. And on the front end, we decided to also use TypeScript for consistency.
Yeah.
But it's all HTML5, and we use React.
Okay, good. And there's one that isn't quite familiar to me. If you could explain TypeScript in like one sentence, what is TypeScript?
TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, and it allows you to use features that will come out in the future in JavaScript, but you can use them today. And it gets transpiled or converted from TypeScript code to JavaScript code.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Mike, you can trust me and us. We want to know, was the IOTA Foundation involved with this proof of concept?
So the IOTA Foundation, Terry talks to a lot of members on the IOTA Foundation, and we told them about the proof of concept. They are very excited about it, and I also talked with Chris Dukakis. Shout out to Chris from the IOTA Foundation. He's one of their lead JavaScript developers.
Yeah.
So we've talked to them about the proof of concept, but they weren't directly involved in producing it.
Okay.
But they are very excited about what we're doing at the bIOTAsphere, and
Okay.
we collaborate with them quite a bit, and they're excited to see what comes next.
All right, that's pretty exciting. What was the biggest technical challenge you and the team faced with putting together this POC?
So initially, we actually had a process where we would pull usage data about the vehicle. We would figure out based on that usage data what the best plan is, and we would do the payment to the IOTA Tangle at the same time. And we would do that whole process as fast as we could.
Okay.
We got it down to like 15-30 seconds, but over the course of 30 seconds, a lot could happen when you're driving. So it wasn't ideal, it felt too long. And also for the demo, if you had to wait 30 seconds for the screen to update when Terry gives directions, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
So basically we took that whole process and we cut it in half. So the first part was the part where we're pulling the real-time data about the car, and we got that down to about 2 seconds. So you could see in the demo the area at the top that tells you the state of the vehicle. It was updating very frequently.
Right?
And then the second part of the process, we would take that data, because now we would pull every 2 seconds, but we would aggregate it, so it would become a usage period. We would take the data for that usage period and figure out, okay, what's the best plan, what's the charge, and then we pay using IOTA for the coverage and push that actual usage data to the Tangle. So that had a huge improvement in the performance of the application.
Okay, so the improvements increased, but how did you and the team decide what frequency interval to push that aggregated data to the Tangle?
Right, so we played with that a bit. There are some trade-offs.
Okay.
So if you go with a low frequency, it's kind of ideal from a consumer perspective, because if you do something in that usage period that's not good, if you're speeding, for example, you would actually want that usage period to reset, because then you get a fresh start.
Yeah.
From an insurance company perspective, they might want a longer interval because they would want to grow a larger data set
Right.
when their plans are being evaluated.
Okay.
So there's a bit of a trade-off there. We played with it a bit,
Yeah.
but we would have to definitely have more discussions around that when we go towards a production application.
So follow up. If you put this proof of concept in production, what do you foresee some of the challenges being in bringing this to market?
Right, so just to stress right off the bat that it is a proof of concept.
Right.
It's not a production application.
So they can't buy it right now.
You can't buy it yet, no. So basically, to bring this application to production, some of the challenges are that we really need to have a lot more conversations with experts in the industry, government agencies, other interested parties, to make sure that we're doing everything properly and to sort out all the logistics. So from a business perspective, there's a lot of work to be done there.
Yeah.
From a development perspective, I would say that scalability is something we'd have to put a lot of attention into. For the demo, we only had Terry's car hooked up, and we've played with more vehicles. But when we go to a full production scenario where we could have millions of vehicles leveraging the platform, scalability is something where we'd have to spend some time. Yeah.
Why Tesla?
So we chose Tesla mostly out of convenience.
Okay.
Terry owns a Tesla, and they have an open API available. So we were able to actually plug into that to get the real-time usage data. So in this case, it was mostly out of convenience, but Tesla vehicles are fantastic. They're environmentally friendly, and we're still keeping an eye out to see if we get a reaction from Elon Musk or his team. Yeah, so hi Elon.
That's awesome. What other manufacturers or vehicles could participate in this POC?
So any other manufacturer that has an open API similar to Tesla, the code that we wrote is actually pretty generic. The Tesla-specific part is pretty small.
Right.
So it'd be easy for us to recreate that for other manufacturers, and we can plug other manufacturers' vehicles into the platform. Another option is the aftermarket telematics devices. So these you could buy and actually plug into your vehicle, and that would gather the data for you and send it to our API.
Is there does your car, can it be 20 years old?
Yeah, it goes pretty much from about 20 years back. You
Okay.
can actually get those devices and
Oh.
hook them in. So
Okay.
if you want to see more about that, in the presentation, Brian Wong, the Director of Strategic Initiatives at the bIOTAsphere, he went into more detail about that. And a last option is smartphones. So smartphones are a good option. They provide the data, but our only hesitation there is that the smartphone is really associated with a person, not really with the vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is definitely a worthwhile option to consider, but we prefer something associated to the vehicle itself.
What is the benefit to this proof of concept for a consumer, and what's the benefit for an insurance company?
So the benefit to consumers, they'll gain a lot of flexibility because within the system it's basically a marketplace of different plans that are targeted based on their usage.
Mm-hmm.
And those plans, you might be choosing from multiple plans from one company by the time we get to production, or it could be plans that are mixed from different insurance companies.
Right.
But regardless, you'll know that you're gaining not only flexibility in choosing different plans, but also that you're gaining the best price based on your usage. So there's a lot of potential to save money there.
Right.
And your data is going to actually be written to the IOTA tangle, so it's going to be tamper-proof, and you can have access to it. So you actually can own your data.
That'd be different.
Yeah. The benefit to insurance companies, they gain access to a lot more data that they could factor in to their risk analysis.
Okay.
So they could be more confident in the models that they create. And also it's an opportunity, it's a new business model, it's an opportunity for them to participate and potentially gain access to more clients. And another thing in the future, we could actually take this model, this format, and apply it to other forms of insurance beyond just auto insurance. So that's another conversation, but
Right.
yeah.
There are a lot of currencies out there that could be used for this proof of concept. Why IOTA?
For this model to be most effective, we need to be able to potentially send very small transactions, fractions of a penny, and we would want to be able to send those for free because if there's a large fee associated with it, you can't really send a fraction of a penny if
Right.
there's a 10-cent fee even.
Mm-hmm.
And also the data, we want it to be tamper-proof. So IOTA really just checks off all the boxes. You can send fractions of a penny for free, all transactions are free.
Oh, okay.
And any data that you push to the IOTA tangle is tamper-proof. It can never be changed. So the IOTA protocol was just perfect for this proof of concept.
Okay, fantastic. What specific IOTA features did you use for the transactions?
We decided to keep it simple for this proof of concept.
Yeah.
So we basically just do basic transactions, we send value, and within that transaction that sends the value, we put the data as well.
Okay.
So it all goes together and it's just a basic transaction, so no special functionality.
Right.
But the IOTA protocol does offer a couple unique features that we did consider, like masked authenticated messaging and flash channels.
What's masked authentic messaging?
Masked authenticated messaging, or
Okay.
MAM.
Masked authenticated messaging.
Yep.
Yeah. What is
MAM
that?
for short.
MAM? What's MAM?
So MAM allows you to basically create a chain of transactions. And the main thing with MAM is that you can do these transactions very fast. So you'll have a chain of transactions, they're all linked, and you can kind of subscribe at a certain point and see all transactions from that point forward. So
Right. So can you see it? You can't see anything
No.
from behind. Okay, got
It's
it.
kind of like a highway. Like you merge onto the highway and you can't go back, you can only go forward.
Right. Yeah, that'd be dangerous. Okay.
So MAM is great for other scenarios where you need to do very rapid transactions and you want to take advantage of that system. But the thing with MAM is that it's really meant for data. And here we need to send value as well.
Right.
So it's possible in the future we might consider it because we could do data transactions and value transactions separate. But for this stage of the proof of concept, we decided to keep it simple.
Okay, great. So got an understanding of what MAM is. Can you share a little bit about the other concept you mentioned, flash channels? Yeah, explain that.
Sure. Flash channels basically are another mechanism where there's one transaction on Tangle at the beginning,
Yeah.
and you create kind of a off-Tangle connection from user to user. And once you go off-Tangle like this, you can send transactions back and forth very rapidly between those two users because it's direct.
Right.
And then at the end of all that transacting, you take the funds that were initially dedicated to the flash channel, and those parties decide how they should be distributed. And there's one last transaction that's on Tangle, so all that was off Tangle. There's one last transaction that's on Tangle to close out the flash channel and distribute the funds. Flash channels are great for a number of use cases, but in this case we actually want to keep all of that usage data.
Right, so that the not so much the consumer but the insurance companies can see how the car is being driven and
Right.
it doesn't go offline.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's benefit to the consumer as well, but the main thing is that we need to keep that data. So basically, if we were transacting off Tangle, we would lose the data.
Right.
So yeah, in this case, we decided flash channels also weren't necessary for this stage of the proof of concept, but we'll definitely consider it for future proof of concepts.
Okay, very cool. What happens when cars are offline?
For offline scenarios, we actually have something, even in the existing proof of concept, where we can detect if the vehicle is offline. And the way that we've talked about handling it is to use one of the special conditions that we showed in the proof of concept. So if we detect that a vehicle is offline for a certain period of time, let's say 15 seconds or 30 seconds, then we would apply an offline special condition to that usage period.
Right.
And then there would be plans that cater to vehicles that are offline and don't have the relevant data available. So we would be able to handle that scenario, but those insurance plans, since they don't have the data available, the rates are probably going to be pretty high.
Higher, yeah. Okay, another use case scenario. What about an accident?
For accidents, your vehicle is always insured. So
Yeah.
all the plans that are available, there's always going to be one that's active for your current usage period. We look at them all and we actually decide which is the best, but there's always going to be something available. So when an accident happens, whichever insurance company is covering you at that point in time, whichever one is offering the best plan,
Yeah.
they'll be the ones that are responsible for also covering the accident that occurred.
Okay. Yeah. Good use case explaining. What is next for the bIOTAsphere?
The bIOTAsphere has a lot on the go, so we're putting together a number of articles and videos to raise awareness about IOTA and about the bIOTAsphere itself. And those could be technical or non-technical, so we're open to suggestions from the community. We also are working on more proof of concepts. We just finished Insure My Car, but we want to move on and keep going with proof of concepts.
Yeah.
We're working on something with palm vein scanners. We did a little something at our last event, but we want to do something a little more substantial. Also, meetup events. So meetup events will be in the Greater Toronto area. That's where we're located. So anybody who's interested in that, come on out. And the hackathon.
Oh, that's so exciting.
So the hackathon, it'll be a little bit more involved to set up, but that's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be coming soon, and we'll keep everybody informed.
Fantastic. How can businesses and people get involved with the bIOTAsphere community and some of the activities that you guys have created?
So we are totally open to anybody reaching out to us, whether it's from business perspective or if you are interested in contributing to the bIOTAsphere. You can reach us at biotasphere.com. Just send us a message to the website.
Check out the video description for more information, contact details. Like the video. We'd also love to get any comments you have and feedback, whether it's about the video or about the beautiful artwork that we have here. And thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, everyone.